I convey my deep gratitude for this August conference and interactive session on the very serious issue, the Vision 2047 on water, organized by Jal Shakti Mantra, Government of India, in presence of all the honorable ministers on water resources of the different state government. I also convey my good wishes and on behalf of my Honorable Chief Minister, Madam Mamata Banerjee, Government of West Bengal, to all of you for Happy New Year. Sir, this is really a sensible moment when we have gathered together in this August interactive session on this issue on water. Water is the source of life. As we all know, all great civilizations started near major rivers. I believe that over the years we have taken this precious resource for granted. We have been blessed with substantive water reserve both in the form of groundwater and the surface water on this planet Earth. However, it seems that not enough attention has been given for its sustainable use. Indeed, the impact of climate change has made our task much more challenging. I am very happy that we are all here today to discuss and build a strategy for its management for the next 25 years, a long-term vision. I will share some of my experiences of the work we have done in our state, which you may find useful in this noble endeavor. West Bengal is the 6th largest state economy in India that thrives on, among other things, a vibrant agriculture and allied business sector. Agriculture accounts for 21% of West Bengal's GSDP and 57% of the state's workforce is employed in the agricultural sector. 59% of the state geographical area is under agriculture and the cropping intensity is 192%, above the national average of 143.6%. About 74% of 52.43 lakh hectares of net crop area of West Bengal is under irrigation coverage. The state receives about 1500 millimeters of average annual rainfall, but the spatial and the temporal variation of the rainfall brings challenges to the water resources sector. Around 80% of the rainfall occurs in 4 months, that is July to September. Apart from that, rainfall is highest in hilly zone and least in the western laterite zone. The state also experiences changing pattern of the rainfall event, that is high intensity rainfall in short duration and successive drought and flood-like condition even during monsoon period, which makes things complex. This densely populated state is having average land holding of 0.76 hectare, where over 90% of the farmers are small and marginal. They don't generally have the capital to invest in creation of irrigation infrastructure. West Bengal has a very interesting geographical setting. It has 6 agroclimatic zones, which has given us the space to experiment with ideas in different contexts and learn, starting from the hilly region in the north to the coastal saline zone in the south. There are different challenges and opportunities. Hilly region has highly undulating terrain with high rainfall and springs, jhoras and seasonal flowing river and streams. This zone is having low groundwater availability. Fruits and spices are cheap produces in the zone. Tista zone receives high rainfall and winter rains and has good groundwater resources, perennial water bodies and resources. Spices and tea growing are predominant in the region. Both old alluvial and new alluvial zone receive good rainfall and has mostly irrigated alluvial soil. Dependency on the groundwater is very high. Western laterite zone is characterized by the undulating terrain and red laterite soil and low groundwater availability. Large area in this zone is monocropped. Coastal saline zone has high salinity in the groundwater, tidal rivers, streams with high vulnerability due to cyclones. Different strategies have been adopted for different agroclimatic zones in the state. In hilly areas, spring rejuvenation has been adopted with hydrant irrigation structures for storage of water. In western laterite zone, surface water harvesting has been taken up using structures like check dams and surface flow minor irrigation schemes. In coastal areas where salinity is a concern, old silted creeks have been excavated for storage of rainwater in the Sundarban area. In Terai region, there is abundant groundwater which is tapped for irrigation. In the alluvial zone, there has been depletion in the groundwater in some areas, and therefore we have adopted improved water management practices, including water efficient irrigation structures like drip and sprinkler. At the same time, we have put lots of emphasis on pond-based surface water scheme. A special campaign under the nomenclature Jal Dharo has been taken up since 2012, and so far approximately 4 lakh water bodies have been re-excavated across the state. Within this strategy, as above, we have been able to reduce monocropped area by 80,000 hectares over last decade. We have also learned that one zone does not fit all the, and one must tap the opportunities lying embedded in each agroclimatic zone. As I pointed out earlier, the landholding size in West Bengal is small. This makes both extension and mechanization difficult. I am sure many other states suffer from similar constraints. To resolve this, small landholders have been organized around irrigation infrastructure and are entrusted with its operation and maintenance through imposition of user fee. These groups are called Water Users Association, WUA, in West Bengal. These are registered under the Registration of Societies Act with provision of annual renewal. We believe that organizing farmers into groups is the only way out for handling small farm size. This helps in future maintenance of the irrigation infrastructure, which ensures its sustainable use. In addition, ICT tools have been used to reach out to the farmers. Forming and nurturing Water Users Association is thus the core issue. Certain principles have been evolved in West Bengal to facilitate formation of farmers groups and make sure that they collaborate towards achieving most optimal use of irrigation infrastructure. First of all, for a specific irrigation infrastructure, only the farmers who own land in its command area are the members of the Water Users Association. This precludes entry of unwanted elements so that Water Users Association can do its business in a healthy atmosphere. In the pre-planning stage, awareness campaigning is performed to make the villagers aware of the government intent for creation a new source of irrigation. Schemes are identified in a participatory mode after intensive interaction with the community. During the planning stage, farmers having land in the command area of an irrigation infrastructure are made members of the Water Users Association. Trust building is the most important work once the Water Users Association is formed. Ethical, inclusive engagement and trust building tools are used for achieving the same. Principles of the transparency like up-to-date cash book, regular meeting, etc. is carried out to bring in cohesion in the group. Support organizations, for example NGOs, are roped in to bridge last mile connectivity with community. So far 2,540 Water Users Association have been registered. The number of members in such Water Users Association varies from 20 to 150. Capacity building of Water Users Association is done through training of the farmers for operation, maintenance of irrigation infrastructure and better management of water resources of the irrigation infrastructure to maximize return from the water in a sustainable way. Grading of Water Users Association is also carried out. More than 70% of Water Users Association have reached a grading of A or B. Our experience with Water Users Association has been varied across the state. Group dynamics have been found to be much better in tribal areas where traditionally and culturally they are inclined to collaborate. After the irrigation infrastructure is created, it is handed over to the Water Users Association. They impose water charges among members. It is seen that the water charges imposed by Water Users Association varies from rupees 50 to 100 per hour or rupees 600 to 1000 per bigha, whereas market rates vary from rupees 200 to 250 per hour and rupees 800 to 1200 per bigha. Since irrigation costs form a major component in the input cost of agriculture, it helps in making agriculture a viable proposition. Water charges help in building a corpus. Across the state, Water Users Association have accumulated a corpus of more than 6 crore, which they use for operations and maintenance of the irrigation infrastructure. It is heartening to see the expanding role of Water Users Association in West Bengal. They perform several roles such as participatory planning of irrigation infrastructure, water budgeting and crop plan, weekly irrigation scheduling operations and maintenance of irrigation infrastructure, water charges, imposition and collection, record keeping, documentation and disclosure and conflict resolution. Simple structures like hapa, farm pond, staggered trenches, pits for orchard development, dug wells are implemented by the Water Users Association. Community procurement has many advantages. In fact, the entire plantation program taken up in the Western Laterite zone has been implemented with the help of Water Users Association, and there has been no involvement of contractors. Irrigation systems are technical in nature, and there was initially a concern whether Water Users Association will be able to handle it. Indeed, Water Users Association have been able to manage it, including more sophisticated system like solar pump. A manual has been prepared in Bengali language which provides operational details in simple language. It is part of that training module for the Water Users Association. We have so far installed more than 3,000 solar pumps across the state. Irrigation plans of these pumps are discussed in weekly meetings and is managed by Water Users Association. Operators of these schemes are normally from the household which provides land for installation of the panels. Local technical operators are also being developed for periodic repair of the solar system under the skill development program. General critique of solar system is that it may lead to over exploitation of the water resources since the marginal cost of the production is nearly zero. However, if the scheme is operated by the Water Users Association, they impose water charges even for solar system, which helps in the behavioral changes of the farmers in addition. Sir, just to conclude, formation of the water users has helped us in the building an integrated approach. The focus is on outcome in terms of agriculture, horticulture, pisciculture, production, and not just putting up an irrigation infrastructure. Livelihood options are added by establishing forward and backward linkage. Western laterite zone is drought prone. With the help of water users, climate resilient horticulture practices with the intercropping has been taken up. And last, I should say, as I have pointed out earlier, this can be facilitated if farmers are formed into groups in the form of Water Users Association. Forming and nurturing Water Users Association takes time, but there is no alternative. So, how to go about scaling up formation of Water Users Association? We have found that old Water Users Association with good track record can act as the change agents and can help in forming and nurturing new group in a hub and spoke model. In agriculture sector, there has been a policy push to form farmer producer organization. Our experience has been that these FPOs are larger entities. Water Users Association can be the stepping stone for the building trust in this smaller group and then federate them to take it to the level of FPO. Namaskar sir, Dhanyavad.